And hello, car lovers. And I am Aaron Clements, and we want to welcome you to the CNC Auto Show. And this is
John Ryan.
and we are
I say
both
the same thing.
yes. We are both here to answer your automotive questions, and we would love to share some information that will make your car safer, more dependable, and to make it last longer for less money and less hassle. We do that partly by taking your phone calls. We love to do that, and that number is 706-863-5800. That's Saturday mornings, 8:05 to 10 Eastern Time. And if you have time, you can also catch us on Facebook.
Yep.
Or if you're at a computer to where you can. And that is on the CNC Auto Show Facebook page. And it wouldn't hurt to invite your car to join the show and listen in on it also. As a matter of fact, you can sit in your car and listen, and that way you two can build a bond together.
There you go.
Yeah, it'd be kind of neat. Okay. If you or a friend are looking for a good, dependable auto repair facility, I recommend going to NapaAutoCare.com, and you can hit that little search box in the top right-hand corner, and you will find some of the best automotive repair facilities in the country. That's NapaAutoCare.com. John Ryan, are we ready?
I think so.
All right, fantastic. We have a show that is jam-packed with great information today, and the theme for the show is a little bit different, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really do. It is going to be about alternate fuels and a little bit about the fuel system also and how the fuel system works. And we'll be talking about everything from electric cars to propane vehicles, natural gas-powered buses, trucks that run on biodiesel, just all sorts of things. There's a lot of different ways that you can power a vehicle. And also we'll be talking about all of those many alternate fuels that you can have. So buckle up, let's get started. And again, the number to call is 706-863-5800. Now, we did have a tech tip quiz last week.
Yep.
That we did not get an answer to. And I believe this particular tip is one that I've received the most phone calls on than almost any tip that I've had in a while.
Yeah.
I had a large number of people calling in. Finally, we decided to go ahead and put the Tech Tip Quiz on our Facebook page so that if somebody did want to take a shot at it, they could call. Now, if they would have answered it correctly, we would have called them or wrote them back and let them know that they need to put the answer or call in and give the answer to everyone else. But nobody got it. So if the person that wins this one will actually be considered a automotive CNC Auto Show guru. Mm-hmm. So this is a big one for somebody. I'm going to give it again. Billy owns a 99 Ford F-150 with a 4.6 engine. His job was to clear-cut land or look for places to clear-cut land. And so he was way back in the woods when his truck started running hot. He pulled over before the temperature gauge got all the way to the hot. He got out, he raised the hood, he noticed that his water pump had a leak, and almost all of the water had leaked out. He had an empty 5-gallon gas can in the back, a small tree limb with a fork on the end, and something else was back there also in the back of the truck. And he used the can, the limb with the fork, and something else to get water. And he was able to drive his truck back to the station. How did he use the gas can, the forked tree limb, and the other item to get back to the station? And if somebody knows the answer to that, they will be the big winner, the guru winner of the CNC Auto Show. And everyone will just look up to you. You'll be receiving phone calls. It'll be really wild. Okay, I did mention that some of the things that we would be doing today would be talking about alternate fuels that we have. So I think that that we'll start it off just a little bit with let's talk just a little bit about diesel fuel.
About diesel fuel? What do you want to know about diesel fuel?
Well, just how it's changed over the years mainly.
This is the most important thing, I think. It's actually safer.
It is.
It's safer than gasoline because the vapors are not explosive.
Yes.
So it's definitely safer. There's several different things. It's changed a lot, mainly by the sulfur content. What everybody runs in their diesel trucks now, or legally runs in their diesel truck now, is, of course, the ultra-low sulfur diesel. There's also, of course, off-road diesel. It's not allowed on the highways simply because it's not, or they don't tax it like they do the regular diesel fuel.
Do they use that in farm trucks also?
They do, farm trucks, and believe it or not, the reason it's at like places like Pilot, Circle K, and stuff like that is because truck drivers also use it for their generators, because that's not considered obviously powering the vehicle going down the road. It's just powering all the items in the truck, their AC and whatnot. So that's really the two types that you see. Now, of course, there is biofuel also. Supposedly, from what I remember, that the only legal limit of biofuel that you can sell is 5%. But a lot of the vehicles, like, for instance, the Power Stroke, it can go up to 20% biofuel. I'm sure the reason they did that is obviously when more and more biofuel comes out, the truck's capable of it. Kind of like when ethanol came out, there was E10, E85, that kind of thing. So I like diesel fuel. It's pretty neat. The biggest thing is
you
just
like
keeping
diesel
it clean.
engines, period.
I do.
You love
I really
driving
do.
those.
Yep.
And, of course, the most common regular fuel is E10.
Right. Yep.
And that is 10% ethanol. And we'll talk about other forms like E15 and E85, just a lot of other forms of fuel coming up. But it is time to go to the phones.
All right, Aaron, let's go over to John.
Let's do it. Hello, John. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Good morning. I'm a Tri Detective.
All right. We are ready for you. Let's go. You are on stage. All eyes are on you, and we're ready.
Okay, he had a shovel in the back of his truck. Also, he took the forked stick, used it as a divining rod, found some water, dug a hole, put it in a gas can, and put it in his truck.
Oh, John. No, that one's not it. Good try, though. We appreciate the call.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Number to call, 706-863-5800. If you have a question you want to ask about your car, truck, or SUV, give us a call. And also, if you have an answer to the Tech Tip Quiz, call. And as we're talking about alternate fuels, if you have some input on that you would like to give.
Or preference,
or an alternate fuel type vehicle that you drive that you have enjoyed, then give us a call and tell us about that, because I believe we can have a lot of fun with this.
All right, let's go over to Gil here.
Let's do it. Hello, Gil. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Well, mine was the same pretty much as the last guy.
But I do have a question, and I did ask this question last week, Gil. I hear a lot of people talk about this divining rod to where you can find water that way. Now, does that work?
Yes, it does. I've seen some plumbers actually trace water lines like that.
Trace a water line.
Yep, they take a divining rod and they'll take two sticks. And that stick will start moving down towards the water.
Wow, that is amazing. We're going to have to get other people's input on that, Gil. But in short, though, we got to give you this. Hold on.
All right. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Gil.
Have a good one.
You have a great day, too. Number to call, 706-863-5800. Where are we going?
All right, Aaron, let's go to Billy.
Let's do it. Hello, Billy. Welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hey, good morning, guys.
Hello there.
Hey, the guy used the fork limb to climb up on top of a mound of dirt. There was a little puddle up there, and he was able to put the water in the gas can, climb down, and put it in his truck.
Oh, this was a Ford truck. He's going to have more than a little puddle to fill that baby up.
Well, it was more. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. Hey, let's mention one more thing. As we were talking, we were going to be also talking about fuel systems in with this, because we alternate fuels and fuel systems, and we'll just mention real quickly the fuel pump, what it does.
Okay. Fuel pump obviously pumps whatever kind of fuel's in the tank up to the engine injectors and the fuel rail.
Yes, under pressure.
Under pressure.
And so it can be used in that, it's under more pressure on a fuel-injected vehicle.
Right.
It's time to take a real quick break. When we return, we will go straight to Gary, who may have an answer to our Tech Tip Quiz, and we'll answer questions, and we'll have more ideas about alternate fuels. We'll be right back after this.
But I've got the fastest set of wheels
we are right back with you on the CNC Auto Show. and we are talking a little bit about alternate fuels. And one other fuel, we mentioned E10, but also there's E15.
There is, yep.
There was a time that I remember very clearly that they were saying that they were thinking about converting, going up to E15 at the gas pumps. I'm not sure what happened about that. I think there was a lot of...
I think it was the fact that a lot of cars would have damage to the fuel.
Well, yeah,
components.
and it's especially concerns the antique car industry because, of course, right now E10 runs fairly well in a lot of
just
things.
not
It's
as efficient.
not a major different, not quite as efficient, but it burns well and does well and a little bit less money.
Right.
But going to the E15, there was a lot of concerns, which is, of course, has 15% ethanol as compared to 10% of ethanol.
Right.
Okay, are we ready to go to the calls?
Yep. Let's go over to Tony.
Let's do it. Hey, Tony, welcome to the show.
Good morning. I think I'll try to do the tech tip this morning.
Well, we will be putting you on stage, and you are there and ready. And, Tony, what is the answer to our tech tip quiz?
I believe that this fella had a shovel, a fork stick, and an ATV in the back of his truck.
Oh. Also, the
believe he
ATV would have been something he could have rode to find water.
I like this one better.
Yeah. So
Yeah, it is better.
Yeah.
But it's not right.
Tony, here's the reason we like that better is our research department, which includes Dominic Frito and Dominic Frito and
And then my common sense.
but he did the research on the divining rod, and I'm telling you, it didn't come up pretty.
No, I've never seen one work. I've had people.
I think there's got to be an electronic way to
I think
do
you
that.
can make anything work, but I don't think you're going to find water.
Yeah, but he would have had to do a lot of driving on the ATV to find water. So we're gonna have to do that to you, Tony. And
Hey, on a different subject, talk about the fuels. I used to run vegetable oil in my F-250.
Oh, wow, yeah.
That is fantastic because we were talking. That is something that we had on the list to mention just a little bit. But while I got you, how did that work for you, Tony?
Actually, once I figured out the things, I used to get it from restaurants. It's wonderful. It smelled like French fries or something. You sit at a stoplight.
Yeah.
What I learned was you had to pass it through a 2-micron filter or else it would plug everything up.
Right.
And then after that, I ran 50-50 most of the time, 50% diesel and 50% vegetable. And you couldn't tell the difference. It was, so you were basically, with a little bit of effort, I had to pressure feed it through a 2-micron filter, but, it just...
Now, Tony, did you have that filter on the truck, or was that in your holding facility?
Your
for the
building
fuel?
facility.
It was I had a pressure tank, so I'd actually fill up the tank, and then I pushed it through with compressed air into the truck.
Wow.
Neat. Because that was going to be my next question, if it was on the truck, if it affected the inline fuel pump on the 250 or anything.
No. Once you figured out how to quit plugging up the filter,
right.
What I learned was that a diesel filter had like a 2-micron filter on it from what the truck uses, where a gasoline uses about a 15 micron.
Right.
And so once I got the right size filter, then it was.
Well, Tony, what made you decide to stop doing this? Because it sounds like you don't do it now.
Well, vegetable oil started with the biofuel rage. It came on here a few years back.
Yeah.
Vegetable oil got to where nobody was giving it away anymore.
Oh, okay.
They got smart.
And it sounds like it probably would have been a good bit of trouble to do, and probably not enough savings to offset the problems or the work that you went through to make it.
Well, I don't know. I'd get 10 or 15 gallons at a time most of the time, and my container held about 12 gallons. So all you had to do is fill it up, hook the air compressor to it, and stick the hose in the truck. And,
okay.
And go get yourself a drink.
All right.
Well,
Tony, I think I really appreciate you sharing that with us, and I hope other people that are listening will call in and mention things that they have done also, because that was a great story. We appreciate it.
You betcha. Take care.
Now we feel bad about the foghorn, don't we?
Yeah, try to. That was the foghorn in reverse.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Thank you. Okay, the number to call 706-863-5800. Let's go straight to Gary so we have time to get his answer in.
Okay.
Gary, can we put you on stage?
Sure.
Okay, be still. All right, now you're up there. You can move around again now. Okay, what is the answer to today's Tech Tip quiz that could make someone a huge automotive guru?
I think perhaps what he had in the back of the truck was a hose, a length of hose, perhaps maybe a length of garden hose.
Okay.
And he found water, all right. And
where did he find the water?
Well, I don't know that.
Oh, okay.
It's around the area there somewhere. He's back in the timber, and there's got to be water holes around here and there, probably that retain some water.
Yeah.
And he used that forked stick to support the hose that he had so he could siphon water. And get a little downdraft as he siphoned it from the support of the stick.
Gary, are you building this as you go?
Sucked it up and put it in as I can to go to his truck.
Gary, your story is good, but it's got a lot of holes in it. And the water's leaking out.
You guys are tough. You know that?
Gary, you can say you guys, but I don't know the answer either. So
I enjoy this show. You're going to have to tell us that one, I think, partner.
No, somebody will get this one. I can feel it, Gary. Thank you for calling.
Take care.
You take care also. Okay, John Ryan, I want to mention this before the break, and that is, did you know that they make them put a denaturant in the ethanol to make it to where it's unfit for human consumption?
So they won't drink it.
Yeah, so it can't be drank, because actually it's like moonshine.
So don't do it.
Don't do it. Okay, we'll be right back with the CNC Auto Show after these messages. Go! And we are back with you on the CNC Auto Show. I do want to mention that our research department did check and find out that John Ryan's answer on the E15 fuel was 100% correct. One of the issues with moving from E10 to E15 did turn out to be that the corrosiveness of the going backwards, 5% so to speak, more would make it more corrosive, and they actually had it in certain car manufacturers saying it would void your warranty if you went to E15. So, of course, they had to backpedal on that just a little bit.
And I would think that that's the manufacturers that said that were for non-ethanol vehicles.
Right. And, well, it would be for cars that were built for E10.
Right.
But now cars that are built, many cars now are flex fuel, and you'll see the word flex fuel on the back of a lot of vehicles. Yeah. And that means actually you can use up to E85.
Right. Yeah.
Which in the Midwest, because of course, I imagine it's because of a lot of the cornfields and it's just readily available that the E85 is very popular.
Well, actually, it definitely makes a difference in performance, too. Yeah. Some of the LS engines increased by almost 20 horsepower.
Yeah.
So
but you do want to be very careful. If you have a car that is not a flex fuel, do not put E85 in there if you're on vacation and see, hey, that fuel's a lot cheaper. I'm going to get it.
It'll definitely add a new stop to your
Yes, you will.
trip.
You will have issues. Okay, where are we going?
Let's go over to Billy.
Hey, Billy, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hey, guys, there was a drum sitting out there behind that Ford limb out there that had some water in it, but it was too heavy for him to dump it over without the water running out. So he took the fork off the tree and leaned the drum into that so he could get it out as he needed it, and used the gas can several times to fill the tank up.
Wow, Billy!
I
can.
So that's what Billy would do.
I can almost picture this. You know, he painted up. He didn't just try to answer and I said try. Sorry, Billy, but he didn't just come up with an answer. He painted a picture.
He visioned.
What color was the drum, Billy?
Who knows?
I just pictured it as being kind of a black drum.
A black, yep.
Yeah,
black,
man. Oh, man, I got it. I got it.
I know what the something else was in the back of the truck.
What was?
The foghorn.
Man.
Hey guys, y'all played that Foghorn so many times for me. I got it as my wake up call.
You hear that thing in your sleep, don't you, Billy?
I
That's
do,
his
man.
alarm
Thank
clock.
you guys.
Thank
Appreciate
you.
it.
Number to call, 706-863-5800.
I think it'd be a
yes.
good idea if you reread that question.
Oh, go ahead and read it one more time. Well, we can do that.
Go ahead and read it one more time.
Read Great grammar. Oh, he's going. Our producer has a Nerf gun that if I say something wrong, he shoots me with the Nerf gun, and I almost got one. Okay. All right. Now, Billy owns a 1991 Ford F-150 truck with a 4.6 engine. His job is to clear cut land. Well, actually, he scouts land to clear cut for the other workers. Okay. He was way back in the woods, and his truck started running hot. He pulled over before the temp gauge got to high, which was a really good move. And he opened the hood, and he found that his water pump was leaking really badly. And so he had an empty 5-gallon gas can in the back, a small tree limb with a fork on the tree limb, and then he had something else. And he used the empty can, the limb with the fork on it, and something else to get water, and he was actually able to drive his truck out into a station to get it repaired.
I think we should give a very minor tip. The fork didn't work.
Yeah. Our research department said that fork does not work.
All right, Aaron.
And we're looking for anybody that can dispute that, though.
Yeah, that's right. All right, let's go over to Makoot.
Okay, Makoot, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Thank you. How are you doing?
We are doing well and looking forward to your question about tires.
Yes, tell me about these flat run tires versus other tires. Some of the cars these days don't come with a spare tire.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a situation where I need to replace my tire.
Mm-hmm.
And if you could talk about these flat run tires, does it give me any additional safety or no?
So you're talking about the run.
He said he has a situation where he needs to replace it. Makoot, you have a flat.
Now, do you have run flats? You have run flats on your car now, and you're wondering if you should get run flats, and if those run flats have an extra edge of safety on them as compared to a regular tire. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. All right. My guess is you've got either a BMW or a Mercedes
or a Corvette.
Which one is it, Makoot?
None of those.
Oh, come on. What car do you have?
Well, that's a quiz for you.
A quiz. Okay. All right. Here we go.
Jaguar.
Is it a Jaguar, Makoot?
No, it's not.
All right. Let me try one. Wow. This is tough. Okay. I mentioned 2 or 3 more common. A Tesla?
Yeah.
Are you serious? All right, fantastic.
You're
cutting up. You're not serious.
Only other one I can think of is a Chevy Vega.
Now, okay, now I'm going to mention this part about tires. Now, Makoot, remember that
I'm going to do Makoot a favor first.
Oh.
We were wrong.
Oh, yeah, that one was for us, Makoot. That wasn't for you.
Okay.
Because we missed it. Man, that hurt too. I see what pain we put people through. Okay, now this is more my opinion because we have not had time to run this through our complete research department. But my opinion is the tires do not have that extra edge of safety to get the run flats. But unless you would call being broke down on the side of the road with no spare tire an extra edge of safety. Because really the tires are very close to do the same function. They grip the road, they disperse water under the tire, and they are speed rated to make sure you can get tires that are speed rated the same to make sure that they would perform under certain heat ranges and certain speeds and still have your protection that way. But in the instance of a flat, the tires will not go completely down to where you cannot drive the car a certain number of miles.
Normally about 50.
So you can put non-run flats on the car and have the same safety factor, but if you have a flat, you would need to call a roadside service to come get the vehicle and have it towed, which many people do that anyway.
Right, and that was going to be my kind of opinion on it. Makout, chances are, if you had a flat on the side of the road, would you change it, or would you call somebody?
Yeah, I would.
You would?
Yeah.
This is just my opinion. I mean, just depending on, well, really financially, I probably wouldn't do it just simply because of that. But what I can tell you is just having the experience with working on them, that car is 9 times out of 10, if it came with them out of the factory, it's designed around those tires. Those tires have a whole lot more rolling mass. They're very, very heavy. Most of the time, the wheel size is a lot bigger just simply because of the design of the tire, and they have a much stiffer sidewall. So some of the handling characteristics may change if you go with a non-run flat tire. And that's just an opinion, And Makout, what kind of vehicle is it?
It's a Honda Civic. I have a Honda Civic, and one of the tire went flat, and it's almost 31,000 miles, and I
Right.
decided
So
whether
your
to
car
buy-
did not originally come with run flats.
No.
You're just thinking about getting run flats instead of.
So that,
No,
I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't see that. Sometimes I like to keep the original tires on, like a BMW, Mercedes, things like that. I think that's a good idea. But if your car didn't have run flats originally and you're thinking about moving to that, I would instead invest in maybe even a can of Fix-A-Flat and or a small air compressor. And then because the only time you're gonna need the spare is if you hit a curb and knock a slit in the side of the tire. What was you saying, John Ryan?
I was just going to say what confused me is I thought he didn't have a spare. So that, if you have a spare, I definitely wouldn't put.
No,
run
I don't
flats
have
on.
a spare. I don't have a spare. I have a kit in my car.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would get the
What the-
regular tires, a good set of tires, good name brand that are speed rated correctly for the car, ones that are rated well to last a long time, and wouldn't spend the extra money on converting over to run flats.
All right.
That's a great question, though. I appreciate that.
And you stumped us.
Yeah, you did. You gave us the ah button.
Well, I lied to you. What kind of tires I have it, not the car I have it.
Oh, okay.
Gotcha.
Well,
All right. Well, we appreciate the phone call.
Thank you. Have a great day now.
Thank you.
Okay. He's always fun. Okay, the number to call, 706-863-5800. But we do not have time to go to the next caller. We are going to ask Wade and John to hold on just for a little bit, because we will be right back after a break, and we'll be talking a little bit more about different alternate fuels. We'll be answering automotive questions. We'll be having fun. We'll be looking for an answer to our tech tip quiz, just a whole bunch of good stuff. So be still, because we're going to be right back after these messages. And the CNC Auto Show is back on the road again. We're ready for you. Now, we did a little research during the break, because we did have a very interesting question from a gentleman named Makout, and as it turns out, he had a Honda Civic.
Right.
And my thought process was, first I'll mention that he was thinking about going to run flat tires, since he did not have a spare. He had like that little kit that you fill a tire up with
Tire
if
kit.
you have a flat. Well, he was thinking about going to run flats. My thought was that the run flats were so much more expensive that I wasn't sure that I would spend that extra money. Well, as it turns out, our research department did the research on the Honda Civic. And really, you can go to a run flat tire for about $30 or $40 more per tire.
Per tire, yeah.
Which is really not that bad. I remember when they were much more money to go to a run flat. Now, one thing that you mentioned, though, John Ryan, is that you had concerns because when you're trying to change one of those, the sidewall is so much harder and the tire is so much heavier.
So rigid. I guess, to support the weight of the vehicle with no air in it, of course. And I just, again, not that it's a bad thing, but it may change the handling characteristics of the vehicle. Of course, I used an example of like a higher end car with sport suspension and all that, like for instance a BMW, and say it goes around the turn real nice, and then because it has run flats on
and
it,
it's
and then
designed for that
Right, and then you
suspension
take the run flats off, perhaps, or something like that, and then you don't have that same handling. So that was kind of the way I was.
So
going
we
with
will need to do further research on that part of it to find out if it's a good idea to go from a non-run flat tire.
Right.
to
And the
a
only
run
other thing I can think of is just it may not be a huge decrease in fuel economy, but I will say that a run flat tire versus a non-run flat tire, depending on the size, it's a dramatic difference as far as the weight. The run flat's very, very heavy compared to a non-run flat. But I don't know that you'd really see that too much on, your fuel economy, but something to keep in mind.
You may not. Great point. So, okay, are we ready to go to the calls?
Yeah, let's go over to Wade.
Let's do that. Hey, Wade, welcome to the show, and I see that you have a 2000 Dodge pick-em-up truck, and what's it doing to you?
Yeah, so good morning, y'all. It sit there and run fine, and then it cuts off. And when it cuts off, the gauges on the dash and all cut off too.
Wow.
I'll put a new coil on it, and you wait a few minutes and crank it right back up. But
Wait, I have a question. It sounds kind of crazy, but the odometer, does the odometer say something different when it shuts off, like BUS or anything like that?
No.
No lines through the odometer or anything. It just cuts out.
No, the odometer don't really cut out. It's the gauges and stuff go to nothing.
Okay. The reason I asked that is those PCMs, the engine control modules, are real bad about dropping out. And what happens a lot of times, it doesn't give the information to the cluster and it shuts out. But most commonly, it would say BUS at the odometer, which means that vehicle doesn't have any more communication with the PCM. There's a lot of tests that need to be performed. Have you had the vehicle scanned for trouble codes?
It don't have none.
No codes. So the next thing that a technician would do is do all of course, they'd have to get it to act up, but they would check power and ground at the PCM and make sure everything's there, because it could be something like the ASD relay, which is a shutdown relay in the fuse box. That could be.
I've changed every relay on it. I've changed the fuel pump and the ASD.
Okay. So after that, let's see. If you check the power to it, that's what would be great to know if the power was dropping out.
Is that used for a crank sensor on that model?
Yeah, but that won't have anything to do with the gauges.
Yeah.
It does
you got a point there, yeah.
It does definitely use crank sensor. I'm sure you've probably replaced that before.
Yes, sir. But what I was told, and y'all the expert, that's the reason I called you. That
I don't know about that.
The crank sensor can fail two ways. It can fail to ground and it can fail open. Mm-hmm. Is that correct?
It is, but it won't. There's nothing to short out. It won't. It's being that it's a magnetic sensor. It's just giving an input. So it's like you said. If it's open, it just doesn't see revolution. And then the same thing. If it was shorted, it wouldn't see revolution.
Wade, what
either.
does your dash look like when the car actually cuts off? Is it just that the lights cut on, several lights cut on the dash, or does the gauges on?
The gas gauge and the temperature gauge and all that, they just like the ignition's off.
Okay. And that's why I wanted to know if there was power going to the PCM, because it could be something like an ignition switch losing contact.
I'm gonna check that. I hadn't checked the power once it cut off on the PCM.
That would be a great thing to do. Just to kind of find out if it is. You could tie on to, like, say, the fuel injector wire. Of course, there's two sides to an injector. There's the power side and the ground side coming from the PCM. You could just monitor that wire just to get an idea. Now, a technician would monitor every single power and ground going into that computer. But just for you to do, yourself, you could check the injector power wire, and when it stalls, see if it's losing power to the injector. Because really, if the key is on, that injector should have power on it the entire time.
But also, even before that, I'm not sure that I wouldn't do a voltage drop test on the positive side of the system from the ignition switch out. You may have just a major loss of power, and that could be anywhere from a battery cable.
That's what I'm saying. From the injector, you'll be able to figure that out.
Something at the ignition switch dropping out. Any one of these things just completely dropping out. So those voltage drop tests there, and then also at the computer if you needed to move forward. But it sounds like you're losing complete power somewhere for that dash to do like that.
It's kind of over fine, but it won't crank.
Right, and I still feel like it's something PCM. Wait, I'm gonna tell you about Aaron's signature test. It's called the WAP test.
You're not gonna tell him my secret, are you?
Yeah, you gonna lend him your flashlight? Those controllers, that's called an NGC controller. It has 3 connectors on the PCM. They're bad about 2 things. The circuit boards have cold solder joints that can separate during different temperatures, and it can happen exactly what you're talking about. Yeah. But you're about to tell me you replaced PCM, right?
No.
There's actually 2 tests you can run on it. You can do the WAP test or the WAP test.
Yeah, you can. Well, what I was going to say is the connectors are pretty bad about having loose terminal grip. So I'm not talking about yank on it till it comes out to the firewall, but just kind of wiggle the harness right there at the PCM. And then the second thing is, and it really is a test. I mean, it really and truthfully is. It even says it in the manual to gently tap the controller, which is, of course, the PCM. And if it is a solder joint, when you're tapping it, it can jar that.
Tap. It's a WAP or a WAP.
Yeah, you have to have a calibrated flashlight to do it with.
You can whack it.
Okay. How about a plastic mallet?
That'll work. Just don't swing it like a hammer.
Go ahead and buy the computer to start with, though, before you do that.
Yeah.
I got one more question, right quick. I know y'all busy.
We didn't answer your first one. What do you want another one for?
Well, you gave me something I want to try. I want to see if I got power.
I told you to hit it.
Okay. Well,
what's your other one?
About that already. I got the same year truck that's got a bad transmission in it, but it's 4-wheel drive with a PCM swap.
It will, but it does still have to be programmed. It is the same controller number, but you have to install that VIN number off your current truck. The 4-wheel drive, again, will be programmed out when you program the new VIN number into that controller.
Okay, I can do that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Wade, thank you.
See y'all later. Talk to you later.
Oh, we enjoyed your call. Okay, the number to call 706-863-5800. John Ryan, we only have a minute. You want to let's try one?
Yeah, let's try John real quick.
Let's do it. John, welcome to the CNC Auto Show.
Hey, I'm back. I missed a tech tip, but I forgot to tell you, you had my Durango a couple weeks ago, and you checked it over for my big upcoming trip.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things you did was that carbon flush.
Mm-hmm.
And my gas mileage has gone back to 20, 21 in the city. This is on my Durango.
Beautiful.
And up to 25, 27 on the highway. So I'm real happy with that service.
And that'll make a huge difference with you going on a longer trip.
Especially averaging,
Yeah.
Try going downhill a lot more, too.
That would do it.
Yeah.
And don't buy any E85 while you're there.
The other thing I want to tell you, in I think it was 87, I bought my wife a Chevy Sprint. Had a 3-cylinder, automatic, air conditioning, the whole deal. It was a great little car until a drunk decided he wanted to be in the same place I was.
Oh,
but,
no. Hey, John.
It got 50 miles to the gallon. My question is, why can't we design an engine to get 100 miles to the gallon?
Because of emissions.
We're going to cover that on the next hour, and so stay tuned.
Or just give us a call in the next hour, John.
Yeah, or give us a call back. It's time to close this hour out, and want to thank our show producers and all the people that called in, and we'll be back with more of the CNC Auto Show.
Hi, I'm Aaron Clemens with